In SCP-5K, there's a lot of primary weapons to choose from. That's why I compiled what I think are the best 10 primary weapons in the game to help you pick what's best for you. Now, whether you're on Area 12 Raid, Antarctica, or Hunt Outpost Axiom, which is the name they like to call it, or whatever game mode you decide to pick, this should apply to pretty much all of those. However, there'll be some slight differences depending on what exact enemies you're expecting to face. Now, before we get into the list, I want to mention just one brief thing. I'm making this video on December 29th, 2024, and the game is supposed to come out late next year, so late 2025. If anything changes from now until release, or after that, do keep that in mind. The FNP90 comes in at number 10 on this list. The FNP90 is manufactured by FN Firearms, who originally started in Belgium. It features a semi-auto firing mode and a full auto firing mode. Now, the reason why it comes in at number 10 on this list is because it has a very high ammo capacity but pretty low damage. So what that means is it has 6 mags of 50 rounds, where most firearms have 6 mags of 30 rounds. So you're getting 300 rounds as compared to 180 rounds. That's quite a bit of a difference, especially when ammo in Area 12 is kind of scarce every now and then. So that makes it pretty valuable as a weapon to have. Now, it does have lower damage compared to the other submachine guns. It takes 4 rounds to the chest to eliminate a humanoid enemy, such as a Size Guard or D-Class. Now, with a high fire rate and the controllable recoil, this downside of the low damage can be sort of negated, assuming that you're willing to dump a little bit of ammo. So that's why this comes in at number 10. Number 9 goes to the MP5 and the UMP45. Now, the MP5 in this game has a few variants, which I will list right here. And they are all manufactured by the same company, Heckler & Koch, or if you're German, it is Heckler & Koch. All of these firearms feature a semi-automatic firing mode as well as a fully automatic firing mode, but the UMP45 has a 2-round burst firing mode. Given all of this, they have a standard ammunition size, magazine size, so that's 180 rounds, 6 magazines of 30 rounds, and they have good damage, but the only thing that is absent from this list is the integrally suppressed version of the MP5, which is some name which I will list here. And it has a lower damage value than the rest of these submachine guns. It takes 4 rounds, same as the FNP90. But it doesn't have any of the benefits of the FNP90, just an integral suppressor. Number 8 goes to the precision rifles in the game. There's 2 of them. There are the M24A3 and the GM6LYNX. These are manufactured by 2 different companies. One of them is Remington, which it was originally the Remington 700 militarized, which is the M24 sniper weapon system, and the Cero International, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, company from Hungary. Now, these rifles are very different, but they occupy sort of the same role, which is why I grouped them here. They are both semi-automatic only, which means, well, take that with a grain of salt, because one's bolt action, one is semi-auto, but they function, one trigger pull is 1 round, and they both have very, very high damage. They have 1 round, they take 1 round to eliminate a humanoid enemy anywhere you hit them, which is fantastic. However, this comes with downsides. It has a low magazine size, low total ammunition capacity, and you have a dependency on your secondary weapon if you're in a horde type scenario when your primary weapon fails or it is low on ammo. So that's why they occupy this lower of a slot. I wanted to put them higher. Number 7 goes to the Grand Power Stribog. Grand Power comes from Slovakia, and they manufacture this 9mm PDW, which is a semi-auto only, at least in the game. I don't know about in real life. And it functions pretty similarly to the submachine guns without the machine gun capability. So why is it this much higher on the list? Well, that's because it has a damage value that is really, really good. Almost questionably good. Now, it uses the same ammunition as most of the other submachine guns, but they decided to give it a better damage value, which is 2 rounds to the chest to a humanoid enemy to eliminate them, as compared to 3 with your normal submachine gun class weapon in this game. So, despite the negative of no full auto, it actually, I find myself using it quite a lot, because it is very handy, especially for taking down larger enemies too. FN returns to 6th place on this list with the Mark 17. Now, this rifle is also known as the Scar, and it occupies this slot because it has a very high damage value compared to the submachine guns. It takes 2 rounds to eliminate a humanoid enemy, size Z Guard D class. However, it's not higher because it only has a limited magazine size and total ammunition capacity. That is 7 mags of 20 rounds. If you do the math, that's 140 rounds. That's 40 rounds less than a just normal submachine gun. So that lends itself a little bit more useful for longer range scenarios, especially because it has access to magnification. So it's higher than a submachine gun because it still has a fully automatic capability. However, I rate it a little bit lower than it should be in most people's eyes because of its limitation for ammo. Punching up to the 5th slot on this list is the ASVAL and the VSS Ventz. These are fan favorite weapons. They're manufactured by a Soviet Defense Bureau, which has that name, and they're integrally suppressed versions of AKs, which run subsonic ammunition. They look really cool. They have semi-auto and full auto firing modes, and they carry over 20-round magazines, which is not good. But they have 9 of them, and if you do the math, well, that's 180 rounds. So although you do have a smaller magazine size, you have standard ammo capacity. With access to magnification, this makes the ASVAL and VSS Ventz very potent weapons. They can go both short range and horde scenarios, as well as long range with magnification. Number 4 on this list goes to none other than the most recognizable firearm on the planet, the AK platform. Originally designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov, the AK and its variants feature a semi and full auto firing mode, as well as good damage. It has standard ammo capacity and mag size, so that's 630s, and it has access to magnification. Now, if you've noticed that the AR still has not been mentioned yet, that's for a reason. The reason why the AK is at number 4 is because, unfortunately, the PSO optic, which is given to it, the unique scope, you have to cycle through, on some of the variants, you have to cycle through the iron sights as well as the canted optic if you choose to do that. So with that combined, I don't really like the AKs in the game. Number 3 on this list goes to the 5.56 platform. And I say 5.56 platform because there's more than just ARs that are this sort of class of rifle. Now, ARs are on this list. The MK18 is what it is called in the game, but so are many other 5.56 weapons like the AUG or the Sig Sauer 5.53 or any of the other ones that are there like the Galil. So all of them pretty much function the same, and I'm a little bit biased. You can put the AKs above the ARs if you want to, or the 5.56 platform, but I find the 5.56 platform a little bit more conducive to my game style due to not having the issue with the candid optics and the iron sights getting in the way of that. They function pretty much the same as the AK as well. Good damage, 630s, that is 6 mags of 30s, and it's really just comes to you whether you like the AKs better. Reaching all the way up to the number 2 slot on this list goes to the shotguns in the game. Now, these are the Italian Benelli M1014 and the American Mossberg 590. Now, before I talk about the differences, I'm going to talk about the similarities. They both have access to top-off reloading, which is the ability to partially reload the weapon without the use of a magazine. Now, they both have great damage as well, which is why they're up here. And the differences between the two shotguns are fire rate and range. The Benelli has a very good fire rate. You can put someone down in front of you in a very short amount of time. But if you want to punch a little bit farther, well, that's where the Mossberg 590 comes into play. It has a shorter or tighter choke, and it'll keep the pellets flying farther, closer together. The number 1 slot on this list goes to none other than the Knights Armament Company Light Assault Machine Gun. Now, the reason why it gets this position is because of its absolutely fantastic belt-fed mechanism, which means it has 4 belts of 100 rounds. That is an amazing ammo capacity and magazine size. It's not a magazine, you get what I'm saying. That means you have 100 rounds of ammo to just unload on that general direction and make it all go away. Keep in mind, it has the same damage as the 5.56 platform and the AKs, so there's pretty much no downside to this, other than maybe you don't have a whole lot of long-range options with it. You don't get access to magnification, if I remember correctly, or if it's the ACOG. I don't find myself using the ACOG very much because it's a full auto machine gun. I don't even think it has a semi-auto mode. So, as of right now, I don't think I've found it in the Area 12 raid. Since they've had their big update, it's sort of been removed. It was present in the very end of the Area 12 raid before it got the big update, but now it's nowhere to be found. So hopefully we see the return of it. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, I'd also appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up, or if you subscribed to the channel. That would let me know to make more content. Thanks.